Welcome to Art and Soul Insider. I'm Barbara Lynn Burns, and I'm here to help you find your joy, creativity, and calm through art and wellness. Whether it's exploring new supplies, guided meditations, or inspiring art projects, this is your space to recharge and create. So let's make more art and less stress together. Here we go. Hi there. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Barbara Lynn Burns, and today we're going to be studying, I'm going to try and show it to you here, the Art Fundamentals, the complete guide to the element of line. This handout, I actually combined a whole bunch of handouts that I have used over the years with my students. And as you know, I have been a teacher, a public school teacher, teaching junior high as well as senior high art. And every single semester, with every single grade, we would always study the elements and principles of design. They're that important. Knowing how to use line in your work will transform your work. It'll make your work stronger. You will be able to express emotion through your work. You'll be able to express movement. So many things and different techniques that you can use using lines, and even using lines that don't come from original tools like a brush or a pen. We're going to look into a lot of that today. So this is part one, because I was videotaping this, and boy, my goodness, it went long. But it went long because I just really put my heart and soul into it and wanted you to get the best information that I could give you. And so this is 25 years and plus of art teaching work into this handout for you. So again, the handout, if you don't have it, is right below here. And go get it. It's free. And join us. Like, I printed off mine in a color. You don't have to print yours off in color. No worries about that. Okay? So enjoy, have fun, and again, go towards this with a childlike wonder. See what line can do, and you'll be surprised. It's pretty cool. Then again, you're talking to an art teacher, so I love this stuff. But again, part one is this week. Next week, I will do part two, and we will continue on. So we're going to work on this handout, or what I like to say, we're going to play with this handout, and we're going to learn about art and learn how art is transformed through the use of line. So hang on tight, and I'll be sharing what supplies you need in the beginning of the video. So take good care and have some fun. Start by sitting comfortably. Place your feet flat on the floor. Rest your hands gently on the table or your lap, and close your eyes if that feels good for you. Let's begin with a few deep breaths. Take a deep breath in, hold for a moment, and slowly exhale. Let's do that again. Inhale deeply for 4 counts. 2, 3, 4. Hold for 4. 2, 3, 4. Now exhale for 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. As you breathe, imagine a single line starting to form in your mind. Picture this line as it gently moves and grows, like a ribbon floating on the breeze. It might swirl and curve or flow smoothly like a quiet stream. There's no rush. Let it appear however it wants to, flowing naturally. Breathe in again. And as you exhale, imagine this line stretching further, connecting the space between your mind and your hand. So now, gently open your eyes and bring your attention to your hands. Let's loosen them up for a bit. Start by stretching your fingers out as wide as you can, really wide, as if reaching for the stars, and then slowly curl them back into a soft fist. Repeat this a few times, stretching out like reaching for the stars and slowly curling them back into a soft fist. And one more time, reaching out and slowly curl them back in. Stretch and release. Next, let's rotate our wrists in slow circles. Move clockwise a few times, then reverse the motion. Let any tension melt away. Now gently shake out your hands like you're flicking water off of your fingers. Feel the energy moving through them. And what I like to do to end this is to rub my hands together and to feel the energy of the friction I'm creating with it. And now you're starting to wake up your creativity. Let's begin. So this might be new for you. What we're going to do today is actually, or the first exercise that we're going to do today, I should specify that, is a line meditation exercise. Now, this is going to take just a few minutes, but what you need to do is grab a pencil or a pen or a marker or whatever you're comfortable with and a scrap piece of paper, right? So I have this scrap piece of paper. I'm going to kind of center it for you guys so you can see it. There we go. And we're going to draw a single continuous line. So we're not going to lift our pen or marker up. We're just going to continue just drawing a line. You can start anywhere on the paper. And what I want you to do is just let your hand glide freely without overthinking of it. We're not going for a masterpiece. This is just an exercise to, well, encourage looseness as such with the way we're working with the pen or the marker. But also it's just to help us to do something without no expectations at all. Isn't that wonderful? Yeah, so this is a line meditation. So here we go. So start anywhere on your paper. Let your hand guide freely without overthinking it. Allow the line to flow across the page. Perhaps it flows like a river, or zigzags like lightning, or it loops like spirals. You can make it bold and strong, or light and whispery. It doesn't matter how it looks. It's about the movement and the feeling. Take your time. Let the line express your mood right now. Notice the rhythm of your hand as it moves. Notice how you're breathing and the line begin to feel connected, like they're in sync. Keep going for a few moments, letting the line wander wherever it wants to. There we go. So pause and take a look at your line. There's no right or wrong way for it to look. And I'm hoping yours is going to look completely different than mine. So this line is your line, and this line is mine, and it reflects the moment you spent connecting to your creative flow. Notice the shapes and the spaces it created. Maybe you see something new or unexpected. Hold on to the sense of curiosity and openness as we dive into the world of lines in art. Hello, welcome to Wonderful Art and Soul Insider with the art fundamentals of the element of line. Line is so important when you're painting, whether you're drawing, whether you're doing printmaking. Line is an element of art that makes up a picture. So it's important for you to have an understanding of line, and therefore you'll become a better artist. That's why whenever I teach anyone, my students when I was teaching in junior high and high school, and students that I'm teaching now that are, come to my house and we have lessons, I always start with the elements of design. And so the first one is line, and that's what we're going to study today. So before we begin, let's go over some of the supplies you might need. Okay. So I have here pencils, but this is a fancy version of pencils, pencil set, but you can just use a regular pencil like this. Okay. Get an eraser, for corrections or anything like that. But really, this is just a chance to play. So don't worry about actually making mistakes here. But if you want an eraser, bring one along. I also have, these are actually called smudgers. People use them for when they're doing pencil work, as well as when they're working with charcoal or Conte, that type of thing, graphite. This one is more of a rolled paper. You can kind of see how it is, right? And this one is basically, it's pressed together to make this form, okay? So two different ones, quite similar in, their tip and everything like that. But if you don't have these, no worries. What my students would also use paper towels, right? If they took their work home and had to do it, paper towels always work. And a pencil sharpener, right? Bring one of those. Now, I'm going to be suggesting you do some of these exercises that this handout has with ink. So you can be really fancy and have these micron graphic ones, in a variety of sizes, right? You can have those, but you don't need them, okay? You can just have regular pens, okay? I find ballpoint pens work really well. I think these are gel. They work just as well. Now, I'm going to be doing something with calligraphy because calligraphy, spoiler alert, is part of creating line. So I have a stylus and nib. And here I've got, this is watercolor ink. And this is just ink. Okay, so if you don't have these, don't worry about it, okay? I'll show you how to create one without using this, okay? And something simple to draw. I know, hold it, don't get scared on me. Don't worry. This, as I said, there's no mistakes. There's opportunities for you to learn and to grow. So I'm going to be taking, I've got an old pencil. What's on my mind? An old toothbrush. This is what I do splatter painting with. So I've got this. I also have an eyeglass cleaner that is full of water when I do my watercolors. So, okay, just simple, basic shapes. Don't get anything like this. Oh my goodness, to try and draw. Okay, not now. Don't go there. Make it easier on yourself. So something simple. I mean, I could even do something like this as well. Okay. So that is the supplies you're going to need. Now, if you just have pencils, you just have pencils. If you just have a pen, you just have a pen. Don't worry, okay? This is just an opportunity for you to learn more about line. So let's get going. First of all, I want you to pay attention to the cover. The reason why I'm having you look at the cover is these are drawings by former students of mine. And these former students were students that I taught grade 11 art to. And they had to do a line design, okay, in a form of an architecture building. So they had to choose their favorite indoor or outdoor scene and then do a visual with it. And that included just, I taught them how to draw and everything. So this, before many of them couldn't draw like this. So really wonderful stuff. And on the back, I give them credit and due because I always believe if I'm going to share your artwork or I'm influenced by your art, I will always give you credit, if I can find your name. But these guys I knew, so I love them all. So anyways, let's get going. Now you can print yours out in, doesn't have to be color, okay? I just did color to make it nice and fancy for you to see. I love the color personally, and I'm very fortunate to have a color printer. But if you don't, no worries, okay? And if you don't have a printer in general, it's okay. You can take pieces of paper. You could take your journal, right, that you have, okay, that's filled with paintings or other stuff, and just work on there. Reason why I did this in a handout is because I wanted you to have, once I'm done the whole series of the elements and principles of design, then you'll have a whole bunch of them that you can always refer back to. That's the reason why I did a handout. So, let's begin. First things first, introduction of line. What is a line? Well, I give you an idea of what it is right up here. One time I've heard it was, a line was, let's see if I can, just getting a separate sheet of paper here, is actually lots of dots put together. Because that's really the first mark, is a dot, right? A dot, a blob of paint or something. So it's putting them together, and what do? They form a line, okay? Now, here, this description is basically, it is a mark, but it's greater in its length than it is in its width. Okay? So you have, again, it's greater in its length than it is in its width. So here, it's longer than it is wide. That's a line. There's all sorts of lines. And this gets exciting because a lot of times I think, even as seasoned artists, we are used to using the same lines over and over and over again. So I brainstormed and I came up with a bunch of different types of lines. And I also shared about line quality. Okay, so let's go to the next page. We're going to use this page for the next exercise. So I'm just going to put it to the side here. I'm trying to figure out which will work best for me. I'm just going to shift it over like this. Okay. So this is an exercise to explore line. We are to fill the page with as many types of lines as possible. Okay, so I'm going to just use the list here. There's a straight line. There's a horizontal line. I'm just going to go across here. Horizontal. Horizontal means, you see, it's got the word horizon in it, see? Horizontal. Okay, and if you want, you can label them as well. Okay, so this is straight. Vertical. How I remember, I don't know if it will really work because horizontal has it as well, but I always thought vertical, you know, with the T going upright, the I going upright, and then this line going upright, that meant vertical. As a kid, I sometimes had trouble with vertical and horizontal. But once I figured out, okay, horizon, and the horizon line is usually flat, and the other one is vertical. Diagonal, so this is not only straight, but it's also a diagonal one. Curving. Okay. And remember, lines can be thin and thick and fat and all sorts of things. I'm making it easy here. Spiraling. Okay. Angular. Jagged. Thick. I could actually use, let's get this one. I've got a brush here, or no, I've got a 3 here on my line, oh, look at that. Yeah, there's a thick line. If I can make it thick, there we go. Did it bleed through? I hope not. This is just regular copy paper. It's nothing very fancy. Yeah, it's good. Okay. Okay, so this is thick. You could make it much thicker, right? I'm just going to fill it in here because it kind of didn't sit all the way flat there. Then we've got thin. Okay, let's bring out these pens. This is what's really good. This one is 0.005. So let's see this one. Okay, that's my 3-inch. Not 3-inch, sorry, 3. Here, right, see the metal? Then you go a little past the metal. That is the tip. So I'm going to put it right beside it. Thin. That is thin. Oh my gosh. Parallel. These are parallel, actually. So I'm just going to go parallel there. So parallel, how I figure that out is there's two L's, and see the two L's are side by side. They match each other. So these are also considered parallel lines there. A zigzag is kind of like the jagged, okay? Okay, so zigzag. Jagged, I find, is a little bit more irregular, right? So the zigzag is basically quite compressed like that. Wide, a wide line. Okay. I'm going to go like that. Now that looks like a shape, so I'm going to have to color it in. Okay, so I'm just going to take this piece of paper underneath, because with the Sharpies, you know, sometimes they can go right through the paper. Okay, so this is a wide line. And you're saying, well, Barb, it's a shape. It is in this perspective, but at the same time, it is technically a line. Because remember, a line is longer than it is wide. So, oh, it didn't go through. Okay. That's pretty good. Let's get this is wide. A long line. Okay, so I'm going to write in here long. Short. Remember, it has to be longer than it is wide. So that line still works, okay? Thick to thin. Okay, so I'm going to do a line like this. So thick, and I'm going to go like that. So I'm going to kind of go like that. I'm going to color it in. Okay, so it's a thick line going to thin. A broken line. What's a broken line? Well, a broken line could be dots separated. Could be dashes separated. This is a broken line. That's broken. Fuzzy. This is where you have to get your pencil out. Okay? If you're already using your pencil, great. So fuzzy line is going to be like that. And then you're going to take your paper towel, your napkin, and just kind of make it fuzzy like that. That is a fuzzy line. Blurred is exactly almost like a fuzzy line in the fact that, okay, you've got a line like that. I did it really softly, okay? Taking this in. Did I use this one or that one? I'm going to use this one. Okay, and fuzzy. I'm going to really, really go to town on just, see how that is blurred? I mean, yeah, this is fuzzy. I'm doing blurred now. See? It's really the line is much more hidden compared to this one. So blurred. Okay, I'm just going to show this to you a little closer like that. Okay. So blurred versus the fuzzy one. The fuzzy one, it's still there a little bit, but the blurred one, it's really diffused along the edge there. Branching. Think of a tree branching. Oh, I'm actually doing a broken branching. So you can combine your lines too, right? This is branching. There, that is branching. Hatched, you take your lines like this, and you make parallel lines. And that is called hatched. When you do an actual drawing with these lines, many people make incredible drawings with hatched lines. The closer your lines are, the darker the values. So this could be hatched as well. Like that. That's still hatched. Another one is sketchy. So sketchy is a little loose. I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to, pretend you're doing kind of rough lines there. See, I'm drawing my little ink bottle here. Like that. So that is sketchy. Oh, yeah, I thought so. Just checking. Gesture. Gesture is getting the feel of a person. We used to do drawings in university that were called gesture drawings. You would try to get the whole human form done in 3 to 5 seconds. So you would do head, legs, arms. I mean, really, you would go really, really fast. And the whole idea of a gesture line is to get movement and energy going into it. So that would be a gesture drawing or gesture line. Next one is contour. Contour, it's an outline of all aspects. Okay, so I'm going to start with one. And an outline could be, okay, you're doing your fingers. I'm not doing my fingers very well here, but I'm just, doing a hand. Whoops, not very well. Okay, so that is considered an outline. You are taking something and you're basically tracing outside. So outside, outline. They both have the word out, right? Outline. I'm going to underline the out so that you get the idea. A contour, now I'm going back to the contour line. The contour line is you're doing, again, your outline aspect. Okay, oops, I don't do my hands often enough, I guess. And then we got that, then like that, and then comes down. Not very well. I have to draw my a little bit better. Okay, you're saying that's fine, Barbara. Thank you. I'm judging myself too hard. Remember, this isn't an art exercise. I have to remind myself, see, that it's not an exercise of what looks good necessarily. It is to help you understand. So this is an outline. So this is an outline right now. A contour is I'm going to put in the lines such as my fingernails in there. I could do a little lines with my knuckles here. I could do contour, of the bracelet that I'm wearing or my watch. So this would be considered a contour. So you see the difference? Outline versus contour. So a continuous line is just that. It's just a line, very much like a long line, but it's just continuous. You could do a continuous line that just fills the whole page. It's one continuous line. no beginning, no end, continuous. Am I still in line with that? Yeah, okay. We'll bring it up a little bit more so you can see it. There we go. We're getting near the end. Graduated or graduate. Yeah. So it is very much like a thick to thin. You know, you're going from one way to another. So, I would do it very similar. So, again, and then maybe making this thicker. Oh, I didn't pencil here. No worries. So, this is going to be darker on one end. Okay. And I probably added too much on that end. I might have to take my eraser, because we want it to go dark to light, graduated. So I'm doing the gradated, that's what it is. Oh, as a teacher, I was terrible at names. And as you can tell, I'm not so good with saying what the words are. So there you go. Now, that, I need to make that lighter. That's the thing when you're trying out a pencil on paper that you're not used to. I really should have given a practice for you to actually, for me to see how this paper would react to the pencil. But, oh well, we're learning together. Because you're going to have to learn your paper too, right? Yeah. So I did this not the greatest for you, because really it's kind of hard to see. I should have done it more on the white instead of over the blue and the red. But again, it's going some really dark, and we could make this really, really, really dark, right? Then you lighten up with your pressure, and then you go into, there we go, a little bit better. Not the best, but you get the idea. It's darker to light, okay? Gradated. Implied line. Okay, so an implied line is, there's not really a line there. So I'm going to draw a circle here, okay? And I'm going to go like this. I'm going to add some shadow. But what I'm going to do is actually erase a part of it here, okay? So it's going to be implied. People are going to know that this is a circle. But there's no real line there. You see that? There's no line. I didn't draw a line here. What it is implied by my shadow. So that is an implied line. It could be implied through a highlight even. This is somewhat highlighted because it is lighter. But again, there is no technical line there. I put a line down here and around there, I did a backward C. And then I added some more shading here, and then lightened up my pressure here so it was light. Okay, here we really do see the line, right, on the edge. So I could even, do a line here. Go over it like that. See? That's an implied line. Another one is actual or real. My mistake, I forgot a supply for you. And most likely you won't have this. This is matte gel. I use this for numerous ways when I'm doing my painting. But one of the ways you can use it is it acts like a glue. So an actual line, I've cut off a handle of a paper bag, a colored paper bag. So I'm going to take my brush, one that's not a good one, one that I actually use for glue. If I have to glue things down in a painting or something like that, this is what I use. So I'm going to put this right like that, okay? I'm going to put some on here. It's going to take some time to dry. But again, remember, a line is longer than it is wide. That is a line based on that definition. So with the glue on here, I take the glue off. I usually have my piece of towel that I use to wipe things off, okay? If I let that dry, it's going to dry solid. So I'm going to put this in water until I can clean it after I finish showing you this stuff, okay? So there you go. Now, if you just have a good old tube of paint, you can squirt it out and just put your line there. So this is a real line, real. And here's my implied line. Implied means looks like it, but it's not. It's not real, okay? So what's kind of cool is I don't know if you can see from there, so I'm going to bring it up. See how there's little lines even in here? Like there, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add value. So this has a little good old carbon on there from the pencil. So I'm just going to go like that, okay? Trying to soften some of those that outside line. Now, there's a little bit of a shadow there. You don't have to make it perfect, right? So I'm just going to go a little dark shading line there to make it look a little more three-dimensional. Smooth that in to make it a little darker. And then I'm going to take my pencil, and it's good if it's at a nice point. And then you can go and you can do your line work on top. You see? So whenever I'm doing something like this, I'm always going to do my values first, and then I go in with my detail. Now, another way I could have done it too, and I should have done this before, is bring some highlights off of it, but this eraser is a little too big. And I don't have what I would usually do is take an X-Acto knife and cut, right? But we'll just go like this. There we go. There. Real, and then this is implied. So this is an actual line, okay? This is implied. Oh my gosh, listen to me, silly me. Calligraphic. So you're using, I'm going to show you, I'm going to put this underneath because I do have ink. I'm going to show you how to actually make one when you don't have what I have. Okay, so I have this nib. This nib on here is actually a writing nib. It's really nice. This creates thick, you see, by using it on this side, and then by using it on this side, it creates the thin lines. Now, this paper is going to kind of expand it. So it's not the best paper for me to do calligraphy on. So, but I'm going to show you nevertheless, and hopefully you will see the thin versus the thick line that you get from calligraphy. So here, I'm taking a line like this. Oh, way too thick. Oh boy, it blew on me there. See how it went just really thick? So let's see. There we go. That's better. There. That ink just flew out of there. Okay, you see how this is thin? And then you've got the thicker lines here, and even some thinner lines coming up. So how do you do this if you're doing just with a pencil or pen? There's a really neat trick. Let's see if I can show you here. I'm getting 2 pencils. I'm going to sharpen up this one. So maybe I should have told you to bring 2 pencils. So 2 pencils, nice points, okay? And then I'm going to, and this is, I guess I forgot this applied too. Silly me. Tape. Now you can just draw these letterings, this type of lettering in. You don't have to use this, but this is kind of neat. It's kind of fun, actually. So what am I going to do? I'm going to work right in here, okay? Oh, so I'll try and make you not confused by all those papers there. So I'm going to do the same A. So I'm going to do bringing it up, coming like that, and like that. Now, you're going, I just see double. And that's what you are. Very true. Closing my... So, you see how it's kind of double there? Oh, there we are. Double. See, there's a double line. Okay, so I'm going to show you what you do. It's kind of neat. You take it and you connect the lines. So I'm connecting those 2 lines. I'm going to fill it in. I'm going to connect these 2 lines. So there's this kind of coming down here like that. So I'm going to connect that. And then I'm going to connect those 2 lines together and create a line that comes down. And then connect these 2 and connect that. This is something extra. I'm just showing you but it's combining 2 lines to actually create a calligraphy visual. So I'm going to just outline it all just so you can see it a little bit better, because naturally I made these sheets really funky. So I added color. But it makes it hard to see when I'm doing something like this, all right? You see that? Isn't that cool? There's your A. Now you could also just draw it out. So I'm just going to go calligraphic. And this is calligraphic as well. Here, okay, you can write an A and you can go and thicken it up. So what I kind of do in the center here, I just kind of go and make a kind of an oval there. Okay, and I thicken up this line, not too thick, and then I thicken up that line. So there you go again, drawing just calligraphy type of A. Isn't that cool? Yeah. just thought I'd share that with you with that extra one. Perspective. Okay. Did I cover perspective later? I'm not sure if I did. No, I guess I did. So I don't have room here, but I wanted to show you this. Perspective, that's why I did this here. Yeah. Perspective is making something look three-dimensional, right? So it looks like this is called one-point perspective. So this looks like you are actually, I'm trying to get you there. There you go. Going down a street, here's another side street here, and here's buildings. That's one-point perspective. Because everything, notice that, all these lines are going to that one point, except for these lines that stand up and make the sides of the building. The next one is two-point perspective. So you have a dot here and a dot here. The lines either go to this point, okay, or they go to that point. You see? That is perspective. Think of a railway track. So I'm just going to do a railway track here. So here's my horizon. Make sure I'm in frame for you. Here's my horizon, okay? Then I'm going to make kind of like that. So I'm going to say this is perspective. And so I'm going to make railway ties here. Right? And the closer I get to the point, the closer the railway ties are going to be getting to each other, and the thinner they're going to be. See that? That is perspective. They all go to that one point. This is that one point perspective. You're looking down the railway line, and that's what you see. That is perspective. That's what it's called. And you create that visual through your use of lines. Isn't that amazing? I think it's just incredible. And the last word that we have here is converging. So it's very much the same. Converging is lines are coming to a point. So I'm going to do a converging right here. Oh, make sure I'm in line. Yeah, I am. Converging. So converging, I'll kind of come to that point, right? That's converging. All coming to a point. So perspective lines would be considered converging lines as well. But this is just another. You could create a design with your converging lines. So many possibilities with line. So now let's go on to line quality. There's thickness. So you can apply all of these lines, and you can make some lines thin, or you can make them thick, or somewhere in between. So your horizontal lines, you could have them thin, or you could have them thick, or you can have them in between. Texture. Your lines could be smooth. So this is kind of very smooth looking compared to, this is a little rougher, you know, because I didn't color it all the way in. The line looks a little rough, okay? Another one is length. You could do it short, or you could do it as a continuous or long line. Isn't that great? Oh, I just love it. So there we go. We are done that. So turn the page. This is one I think one of my favorites, I used to do a really neat exercise with my students, and it was concerning lines show emotion. And you think, well, how can lines show emotion? But they can. And artists have been using lines to express a feeling in their actual work that they're doing. So the first one is anger. Anger lines are jagged, they are strong, bold lines. So here we go again. I'll take this. I'm going to get my marker. Where's my marker there? Jagged lines. Bold, right? Make it stronger. Make it stronger. Bold, bold lines, right? Think of the last time you're angry, right? These are the type of lines you'd be using. So, if you want your image to show anger, you are going to somehow incorporate these jagged, these strong, bold lines. Peaceful and calm. Well, they're the exact opposite of anger. So if these are jagged, what kind of line do you think will show peacefulness? Well, these are bold. I would use softer. So I'm going to use my pencil. And they are horizontal lines. Think of the horizon. Think of still water. You've got peaceful and calm using horizontal lines. Stability and strength. Oh my gosh, I made a typo here. Right there. Vertical, which I meant to say vertical. We got an extra little thing there. So stability and strength are using your vertical lines. So remember vertical. It's got that T, it's got that I, it's got that L. Remember, these are the lines that show stability and strength. When someone is making a logo, they use these exact lines to try and convey a sense of feeling. So stability and strength, you might see a lot of banks. Oh, let's try and do my little, it's kind of a weird line thing here. The banks and stuff like that, financial situations, their logos will have a lot of straight vertical lines. Okay? You're going to get that sense of strength from them. Growth or movement, you're not going to have, growth and movement is not stable, right? In some ways. Growth and movement has energy to it, right? So you are going to use diagonal lines, and they always lead the eye up. Whoops, see that pen? I don't know how to use it properly. There we go. Vertical lines. Diagonal lines. You're wanting to use diagonal. It's like climbing that mountain, right? Getting that growth, movement up, right? You want that, your stocks to go up, right? That is growth. So those type of businesses, if you look at their logos, those that are trying to say that they're into growth and they're into change and stuff like that, and they are going to have diagonal lines. Joyful and happy, well, opposite, just like opposite here, it's going to be opposite of anger. So anger is very jagged, bold, strong lines. I'm going to use my pencil for joyful and happy. They are curved, they are rounded, they are lighter. And again, very much like growth and movement, they're going to lead your eye up. Okay? Happy, 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 like little bubbles, right? Soft, happy, joyful. Look at the difference. You can't even have, they're just direct opposites, right? And that's what they are emotionally, right? You got anger on one side, happy on the other. Energetic and explosive energy. It is going to, energetic, explosive. Anger is very explosive, right? So it's got that movement, just right. What happens when people are angry? I'm kind of going back to this growth and movement. They are expressing something. With their expression, there's movement. There's going to be change because of their anger, right? Something energetic or explosive. You have spirals, again, with curved or jagged. So they could actually be something like, I'm going to take my pen, could be something like this. And then they also could be, one thing I didn't add in here, it could be radial. They could come out like this, see? Like that. That's explosive. Starting in one point and coming out at you, right? Another one is someone, here it says spirals. So again, how do you do spirals? Well, you could do spirals like this, right? It's hard to do with jagged, but it's possible. But again, jagged lines or curved lines, I find what really expresses more energy and explosiveness is more, you have more of these, not curved necessarily, even though I put curved, and you can use curved, but they're more jagged because, again, see, it's movement, right? Explosive. It's poof, coming out, right? So you could do your spiral in not necessarily what I was trying to do here, but a spiral, see, starting at the center, coming out, right? That's a sense of explosion or energy coming out. So there you go. So if you are trying to send a message across, get a certain feeling of your artwork, think of the type of lines you're going to be using, because they will be the undercurrent. People will get what you're trying to express just by the lines you use. Isn't that wonderful? I think it is. It's pretty powerful, this stuff. So, and I encourage you to go and look at people's logos and stuff like that and see, what kind of fills in with them, and, what are they trying to say with their use of lines, right? What kind of emotions they're trying to show. Now, line in art. So, line is a design element. So a design element is basically, element is a section or a part of. So line is an element of design. Here again is that implied lines. We talked about it before, we drew it, but I just wanted to go over this because these implied lines suggest an edge rather than clearly defining one. So here's a defined line. You see that? They actually took a line and they created it right there. Here, with this implied line, look it. It's not there, but you know that that apple has an edge. It's implied by this little line coming out here and this coming up like that. And so our eyes, we like connection. So we connect the lines. There's connect the dots, but we're collecting the lines. I'm not sure who did this. I got this from online, so that is the reason why I put unknown. But if you do know who created this, please let me know, and I will give them full credit for that. Lines also create patterns and textures. This is a really hard one to see online, and I'm sorry I didn't pick a better one, but this is actually, here's the ocean, here's the beach, and here's those palm trees coming out and up, okay, and with their beautiful little leaves, right? So that is a texture. Here is also kind of a texture, but it also is a pattern. A pattern is anything that repeats itself, like circle, square, circle, square, circle, square. That is a pattern. So here we see a pattern. Okay? So lines can show textures and line can show patterns. Also, line defines form and shape contour lines. So this is a contour line. You see that? So not only are we seeing the outside line of her face, right, and her neck and sunglasses, we're seeing these contour lines where we see, okay, here's her glasses. Oh, there's her eyes coming out like that. Oh, this goes and forms her neck. Here's her lips. Here's her nose. That actually defines her the contour lines, the shape of her, basically her form, right? Her face. This is also contour lines, okay? Because basically you have a line all the way around this silhouette. And that creates its shape. You don't necessarily see form here, but it is a shape. So lines can do lots of things. So there you go. That was just not something for you to work on, but something for you to look at and really think and maybe try to put into your artwork as well. And be inspired and really trying to use your lines in different ways, right? Yeah. Okay. So thank you for joining me when we were discovering the wonderful element called line. I really am a firm believer in just how powerful your use of line can be in a drawing, in printmaking, even in clay. You know, your contour lines, your outlines of that, and naturally your paintings. It plays a significant role because it can show emotion, it shows movement, it actually creates your basic shapes, right? Because of it's an outline for your shape, and so much more, you know. And we found, again, just by doing that simple line drawing of that landscape, that we were able to see that, my gosh, like it really, you know, you can do a decent picture with just line. And I highly recommend that you go and look up some artists that do with ink the techniques that I talked about, such as hatching, cross hatching, pointillism, right? Yeah, they just really are wonderful, wonderful works of art. So we're done one here, so there's many more to go. We will continue to study the elements of design, and then we will go on to the principles. And the principles are basically how you use the elements of design. So I'm looking forward to that. And with that, I say thank you for joining, and we will see you next week. Have a great day and a wonderful week. We'll see you next week.